What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to basketball, and more importantly, welcome back to Ideal Offseason. For those of you unfamiliar, this is the series where I put the GM cap on for a little bit and help a team navigate through their offseason. We try to keep this series as realistic as possible, meaning we're taking a real in-depth look at what every team really needs to be, where they need to go, and just really try to get into the weeds of things. Like if you're the Washington Wizards, obviously not the best team right now, but they're growing, right? They've got a lot of young guys, they're trying to develop them the right way. So we're going to help set them up for long-term success. If we're the Lakers, they got Luka, they got LeBron. We're trying to win a championship right now, so that's what we're trying to do. And today, we've got the other LA team, the Los Angeles Clippers, who unfortunately, again, just got bounced from the first round. I'm so sorry, but we're going to try to help them out a bit today. But before we do that, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment. I've responded to every single comment to my YouTube channel up to this point, every single one, and I intend to keep on doing so. Make sure you go watch the rest of the Ideal Off Seasons. I'm recording this on the 7th, so there's probably more than just these. Well, there's definitely more than just these out by now, but go give them a watch. Far and away the most popular series on my channel. It's a ton of fun. I think I'm the only one doing something exactly like this, so it's kind of a cool thing. Also, go watch my Do They Fit in the NBA series video, because they get demonetized every single time, and I'd like for you guys to keep showing them love because they are pretty successful on this channel as well, but I don't really benefit from it at all. So I'm just glad I can bring you guys some content that you like. But anyway, let's talk about the Clippers. And that brings us here to the Ideal Offseason spreadsheet. For those of you unfamiliar, this spreadsheet is something that I built just to kind of help articulate and visualize the story that is Ideal Offseason. It's a pretty cool tool. I build spreadsheets a lot on this channel. It's just kind of the way I like to navigate things. You can actually get access to this spreadsheet. It's really simple. All you have to do is go in the description of this video. There's a link to join my Discord. Go hop on there, and then on the announcements channel, you're going to see like a little download for it. You can just, or a link to go get the spreadsheet. It's free. It's a lot of fun, and you can post whatever you design on there as well. I think it's a cool thing. So go do that if you want to. Anyway, let's talk about the Clippers. So Clippers fans, you guys are just not having a great time, are you? It's been rough the past couple years. It really has. Let's rehash it just really quick so that we know where we're at as a franchise. You had Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Got rid of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander because you wanted to put Kawhi Leonard and Paul George together on a team. Totally understand. Totally get it, right? Like two really elite players at some of the hardest positions to fill. Why not, right? And obviously, Kawhi injuries, Paul George injuries, they just keep happening and yada. Paul George goes somewhere else. You've got James Harden on the team now that you're trying to make with Kawhi Leonard. And honestly, this last season, Clippers were pretty damn good. Like, this was a pretty good basketball team overall, and it's because of growth in guys like Ivica Zubac, who had just a phenomenal season, possibly the most underrated player in the league this year. Norman Powell had what was a borderline all-star season, amazing. James Harden had a really good season, all said and done, and then Kawhi came back, and he was as close to Kawhi Leonard as we've seen in a long time. So really cool, right? And after the All-Star break, the Clippers were like the third best team in the NBA. Like, they were just rolling fools. Again, they had Kawhi back. This team's looking stacked, and they got to the playoffs, and they ran into another really good team in the Nuggets, who I'm honestly surprised came out of it, but they did. So credit to the Denver Nuggets, but we're here to fix the Clippers. And this is one that's been interesting, because a lot of people have been saying, like, what do you really do with this group? You got Kawhi locked up for a while. You still have James Harden. There's not really better things to go out and get necessarily, but this team's not that far off. It's aging and we're running out of time pretty quickly, so this is going to be a how do we stay in contention video, right? And how do we try to find any success, but I do think that we can make some moves. I think that there's some moves to be made, so I want to explore that in this video, and we're going to. We're going to be taking a look at realistic trades. I don't know why I have the Rockets pulled up here. I mean to have the Clippers. Oopsie. We're going to be doing a mock draft. We're going to go through realistic free agency with realistic numbers and everything, so it's going to be a good time. We're going to start off with just going through the roster. What do we currently have? Talk about our cap situation, the draft picks we've got right now, but let's start with the current roster at hand. And by the way, If you're unfamiliar, these numbers right here, these are EPM numbers. If you're not familiar, that's estimated plus minus. It's a really, really advanced analytic that basically tells you how good somebody is from like 0 to 100 on offense, defense, and then just like overall as a player. With every analytic, and this is coming from someone who owns an analytics company, it's their stats are never perfect, right? There's a lot of context to everything. That's why it's important to have people that can interpret them in a proper environment, right? But these are some of the best stats that we have, and I think that they are pretty good at what they do, so we've got them on screen just to kind of take a look at. First guy, Kawhi Leonard. Missed a big chunk of the season, came back, played a lot of basketball games, and was pretty damn good in that time. I will say Kawhi looked a step slower than what I'm used to with Kawhi Leonard, but overall, dude was pretty damn impressive. There were still times in the playoffs where I'm like, I don't know if when Kawhi's at his peak, who's better than him. And that's a serious conversation to have because he can be so dominant on offense and defense that it's insane. That one Raptors run is still like one of the craziest things ever. As you see, he's a 98.5 overall in our EPM ratings. Pretty damn good. He was pretty awesome this year. So shout out Kawhi Leonard. He makes $50 million for the next 2 years. We're not going to find anything better, right? We're not going to find anything better. I also think it's worth noting the Clippers seem like they're just kind of in this constant state now of trying to contend, right? With Ballmer taking over as like owner, I'm getting the sense they need to prove it over more time that they're one of like the Pacers, Jazz, or Heat that just are always in like kind of go mode for things and they don't stay down for very long. But I get the feeling the Clippers are kind of going to enter that territory as well, which can be aggravating for fans sometimes, but it's whatever. James Harden overall had a really good season, a really productive season, and it was pretty quiet in terms of like there was no real James Harden noise. He was just kind of out there facilitating. He had a team that fit really well around him, and it was working. So overall, his offense is still pretty damn great. Defense was honestly pretty solid this year, and he's still an awesome player. The problem is, in the playoffs, again, dude didn't show up, and I'm not a guy that likes to come on here and be like, oh, this guy doesn't perform well in game sevens or whatever. Like, I just think that's the dumbest fucking conversations. I'm going to keep it so real with you. Like, I just don't have time for those, like, small brain conversations. I just don't. But I'm not gonna lie, like, it's every time with Harden where he just, like, we can't have you taking 8 shots. We just can't, right? Like, Ben Simmons, the one time where he just, like, he scored, like, the 1 point or whatever, it happens, right? It's one game or whatever. But, like, Harden consistently in these big games just, it doesn't happen. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's running out of gas or what it is, but it is a conversation that needs to be had at a certain point. But are we going to find much better than James Harden? Probably not. Dude's still really good. Wins you a lot of regular season games. We just got to figure out what to do in the playoffs with my boy. He does have a player option, and I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to anticipate he is going to decline it. I'm going to presume he's coming back, but we'll address that later in the video. So Harden declines his player option. That's what we got for right now. Next, Norman Powell. Like we said, borderline all-star season. Maybe worth talking extension with him. I believe he's like 30 now or something, but Norm Powell was awesome this year. He is the peak of offensive efficiency this year. All the numbers were incredible. Really, really good season, so we want to keep Norman Powell around. I've seen some Clippers fans saying, like, oh, maybe we should trade him. I just don't know what you're going to get that's better than Norm Powell. Like, he was really, really good this year, so I don't know. Bogdan Bogdanovic. I'm still shocked at this trade that it went down the way that it did. Not going to lie, Hawks fans, I can see why your GM got let go. I thought he made 2 just really weird moves at the deadline. One of them was trading Bogdanovic and picks over to like get his salary off, when I'm like, Bogdan's like a pretty good player. He was having a rough start to the season in terms of shooting, but as soon as he got to the Clippers, dude was hitting again, and the defensive numbers weren't bad. So you've got a pretty solid role player here overall that can come off the bench, really get some buckets for you, play okay defense. In the playoff series against the Nuggets, dude was actually bringing it defensively after that like first game. So we love it. Ivica Zubac, I am so glad he has developed exactly into what I thought he was going to be. I always knew that Zoo was going to be a nice player, and I just didn't think he'd actually get the opportunity to reach this level of potential. Zubac very well could have won Defensive Player of the Year this year, so could a couple players on this team. That was the thing. This team was so good defensively, and they had enough scorers. It's a well-constructed team. It really is. Zubats was awesome this year, walking double-double machine, rebounding machine, just defensive anchor. You can see he actually comes in at a 98 overall in the ratings for this, which is pretty crazy, all said and done, but it's not really an exaggeration. Dude was so damn efficient and great at everything he does. He is on a steal of a contract. Zubats is ours for forever. Derek Jones Jr. Coming in, a pretty nice $10 million contract for a role player. We got him locked up for a little bit longer. The defense is still impeccable. He can still hit from the outside consistently enough. We like Derek Jones. He's a good role player, right? Chris Dunn came in. He could have won Defensive Player of the Year as well this year. If you look at a lot of these EPM numbers, Chris Dunn is near the top, 98.6 in terms of defense, which is insane. Offensively, he had his moments where he could shoot the ball, other moments where he can't. That's Chris Dunn. That's what you kind of get with him. Overall, for $5 million, I'm pretty happy to keep a lockdown guy like that on the team. Drew Eubanks came through in a trade at one point this year. They needed some center depth. Totally get it. His contract's not guaranteed. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not bringing Drew Eubanks back. But can I use him in a trade is a question. Can I give somebody salary relief? See, I kind of got you guys with that one. So I'm going to hold on to Drew Eubanks for the time being, but we'll see if we need him. Nick Batum has a player option right now. I don't think Nick Batum goes for more than a minimum at this point. He's making more than a minimum right now, so I'm going to presume he's going to accept this player option. Nick Batum this year, we love the three-point shooting. The defense was amazing this whole season. I feel like Clippers fans will tell you his hands are involved with everything. Really, really strong player. Nice vet to have on the team, and the no-dip threes are always fun. Kobe Brown, young guy in the team option. Not really showing us much right now. This team doesn't really have a young core at all to speak of. At least at this moment in time. It's a team option. He's cheap. He's in a position of need. Fine, accept the team option. It's not a big deal. I don't see a ton of potential in the next couple guys that we're talking about, but he's here. Cam Christie, their rookie from last season. Again, I don't personally see a ton, but he's cheap, and his numbers aren't bad. Like, they really aren't that bad. I'm just not sure I see the potential in it, so it's whatever. We keep him around. And then Jordan Miller, another guy here that he was not a G League, he was a Summer League standout. He was like the Summer League standout, so he got a contract. There's always a guy like that every year. He didn't really show a ton. There's a lot of guys in front of him in the rotation. It's a non-guaranteed contract, so I feel like I'd rather use the roster space elsewhere. I'll hold on to it for now just because it is pretty cheap, but we'll see if he ends up sticking around long term. All right, let's move on to the cap space situation. What are we kind of working with? For those unfamiliar, there's 4 levels to the NBA salary cap. If you want an in-depth breakdown, go watch the Suns Ideal Offseason. It's the first one in this series, so it'll give you a much more in-depth breakdown. But here's a really quick synopsis. First level here is the cap itself. Once this number hits 0, you can only re-sign your own players for anything more than a minimum. So that's what you need to know about that. Luxury tax. When this hits 0, your team gets way more expensive. And then we have the first and second aprons here. Once you cross into these, when those hit 0, things become really, really tricky for your team. The NBA put this in place to stop star players from being traded all the time. Basically, James Harden and like guys like Kawhi and stuff like that, right? Kevin Durant, Kyrie, they were all being traded too often. So the NBA put these in place to say, okay, if you have a really good basketball team, it's probably going to cost you a lot of money. So once you start getting into that elite category, we're just going to lock you down. It's going to be like impossible to make trades, sign certain people. We're going to make your life a lot harder. It's supposed to balance out the league. The Dallas Mavericks decided they just didn't care at all, and they still traded their best player. But, is what it is. So we have to be damn sure if we're in these aprons that we're where we want to be, or we are where we want to be, right? So that's important to realize. We are a pretty good basketball team, and we're trying to win, so I'm not afraid of the aprons necessarily here. I don't want to get too far because I want us to remain flexible, but we're okay with stepping into the aprons if we need to. Finally, our draft pick situation here. Obviously, we traded a lot of picks to the Thunder as a part of the Paul George situation, but honestly, we're not doing horrible in terms of it. At the end of the day, it could be better. It could be worse. But let's talk about what we have. We have the Thunder's first round pick this year, so we do have a guy that we can throw on the roster for really, really cheap, and this is a deep draft class. I'd love to go get some more center help, find like an older center to kind of add to the team that maybe we could throw in the rotation right away. That'd be great. We have this Timberwolves pick as well. That's pick number 51. I don't know who's going to be that great at that pick, but if we need another cheap guy to put on the roster, fair enough. We got a couple of seconds next year. We'll see if we actually get more than one. We've got a couple swap worst first round picks, which isn't the greatest, and then we really take control again after 2030. So again, it's not great. It's not. It's definitely not good. I wouldn't say it's horrible either, but overall, we do have some assets to work with, and this is what we're looking like for our depth chart right now. James Harden's not appearing just because I took him off the sheet here. If I were to put him back on, he would show back up. So with James Harden, we're going to figure out his contract afterwards. What I want to start to do is I want to see what moves we can make. And there's really not a lot. We're going to be running it back with most of this roster, unfortunately. But I think there's a couple small moves we can make to try to improve the team. So let's start investigating that and see what we can do. Alrighty, and that brings us back here to Fanspo. Fanspo, really cool website for those of you that don't know, where you can do a bunch of things like trades, mock drafts, all this fun stuff. And hey, if you skipped to this part of the video, first of all, you asshole, go watch the last part where we did the breakdown on this. It's giving you a lot of context that you're missing. I watch my analytics. I see that like 60% of you fuckers do that. So go and skip back. Just go back and get the context you need for the video. But anyway, so we're going to try to make some trades here. I never really know where I'm going with this stuff. I kind of just go off the top of my head. But we should probably know how many roster spots we're working with. So we know that James Harden's coming back. So let's just put a placeholder here for James Harden so that we know that that roster spot is full. And then looking at our other free agents here, Nick Batum, we already said, is coming back. Amir Coffey is another one that I would love to bring back. I know he fell out of the rotation and maybe he doesn't want to come back to us, but I'm down to give him a little bit of money in case we feel like we need to trade somebody else throughout the season, and I'm okay to spend a little bit of money. So Amir Coffey, I for sure want back. I'm not so sure about Ben Simmons. I think we're probably going to hold off on that one for now, but Amir Coffey we'll hold on to because he is at least serviceable. Can put the ball on the floor a little bit, good shooter. We can live with that. But what kind of trades do we want to make? We do have some cap flexibility here. I'm not going to adjust the James Harden thing here because we'd still have a cap hold that's probably similar to this value. So we've got a little bit of money to work with in terms of a trade. And so what I want to do is I want to go to player contracts and see like, okay, for like $13 million and less, who could we go and target that somebody just kind of wants to get rid of that we could potentially add to the roster for a little bit of depth? Like Cole Anthony is one. I'm not sure I really need another scorer necessarily because I got Harden, I got Kawhi, I got Norm Powell. Zubats does a bit for me offensively. Bogey can do a bit for us offensively as well. So I wouldn't mind having like another defensive player out here so that we can just really have a bunch of options. But we'll take a look through and see what we can find. Like, I'm not thinking Thibault necessarily. I love the idea of Isaac Okoro. Actually, let's explore this really quick. The Cleveland Cavaliers, who at the time of recording this just went down 0-2 after Tyrese Halliburton intentionally missed a free throw, got his own rebound, and then game-timed the Cavs. Donovan Mitchell looked like he was about to die, by the way. Dude left everything out there. Shout out Donovan Mitchell. But they're going to be in an interesting cap situation. They need to figure out some money. And you know what we can do? We can give you a little bit of salary relief, can't we? We can give you a little bit of salary relief. So here's what I'm thinking. Isaac Okoro, not necessary on this team at this point. They got DeAndre Hunter, right? Maybe Jalen Tyson becomes something for them, but they've got other options here. I can use an Isaac Okoro, decent enough three-point shooter over his career, really good defensive player, doesn't do a ton else, but like wings that can do that kind of stuff. I'm down. Max Strus would be another one. It would be nice to have just like a real lethal three-point shooter on this team. I feel like they're much more willing to just give me Isaac Okoro for not much, though, considering how much he makes. So let's move Okoro over here. And what I'm thinking is you guys get Drew Eubanks. We'll save you some money right here. You don't even have to guarantee his contract. You don't got to do whatever with him. But let's swap this, and we'll give you a pick. We'll give you a pick even. What do you have in terms of second-round picks this year? You have a couple second-round picks this year. We're going to give you this Memphis pick that's protected, because this one's not guaranteed to come to us. I'd rather at least have a guaranteed second next year. We'll give you this second-round pick for them, and honestly, this should work financially. This gets you under the second apron. Ooh, why? We need to cut another $1.2 million? Really? Am I doing my math wrong? I guess fair enough. Well, then guess what? You can also have Jordan Miller on this team. Or do I need to take someone else's contract off of here? What if I just don't bring back Jordan Miller? What if I waive for specified amount? It's 0. If I just waive Jordan Miller, I mean, there's 2 ways to go about this. It still fails because of the trade rules with it. Okay, so let me just adjust this and send Jordan Miller over there. So you're actually still getting under the second apron, and that works. Okay, that's fine. It's the same thing. We bring in a guy that we can actually use rotation-wise. I think this benefits both teams. We get you guys under the second apron. Cool. Because, look, they got to figure out their Ty Jerome stuff and everything, which I'm not positive they should bring him back. But, hey, they could use Drew Eubanks if they really want to as another big man. So I like that. I like that. So now we no longer have Drew Eubanks. We no longer have Jordan Miller, which is just fine by me. I don't really care. Let's add Mr. Isaac Okoro to the rotation here. And so I'm going to take these guys off. We are really desperate for big men now. We're going to have to address that at some point. And we now have Mr. Isaac Okoro on the roster. I like this. I like this a lot. Again, another good defensive player, a guy that can shoot if necessary. Cool. Also gives us a bit of flexibility if we wanted to package like a Derek Jones and someone else and go get somebody that becomes available at the deadline. So I'm cool with this. We still have 3 roster spots left. Is there any way that we can get another center somehow? Is there any way? I don't think cap space-wise we're going to be able to do that, because let's just say, let me just throw in a number, right? Let's just say, let's just say it's like 40 million here. We still have a bit of space to where we could make something work between the cap holds of like Amir Coffey. We could probably take on like an extra like 3-ish million, but who would I want to get rid of? Like, is there a guy for like 5 million I can trade Kobe Brown for that would actually be worth our time to go after? Like Haywood Highsmith. It's going to be a lot of young guys. Dario Saric, as much as I would love to help the Nuggets out, not going to do it in this one. Jake LaRavia, no. Nick Richards. I would love to get Nick Richards on this team. I don't think they're necessarily going to give him up. Like, I don't think he's going to be hard necessarily to go get, but I don't want to have to bargain with them. They're going to need some sort of center. Aaron Holiday, I'm not really interested in too much. Bub Carrington, I'd love. Sure, why not? Alvarado, no, there's no way. Peyton Watson, no. Like, what would we even want? We'd probably want, like, more of a true point guard or something. That's maybe what I'm thinking. Pods, Svi Mikhailuk, interesting option, but I'm not seeing anything else. I think honestly that's the only trade we're gonna make in this one. So we're keeping it pretty simple. The Clippers don't have a ton of room to operate anyway, but I'm cool with it. So we don't have this second round pick anymore. We can get rid of it. But I like the Isaac Okoro ad. It's a simple thing that we're able to do, and it makes the team just a little bit better. So I'm cool with it. Let's move on to the draft, and let's try to find a couple guys to help this roster out a little bit. I'd love to walk away with a big man and a point guard. Alrighty, and that brings us to the Fanspo Mock Draft Simulator. Really cool tool to kind of, bring a little bit of realism to this. We're going to let it simulate what it thinks it's going to do in the draft, which, sometimes it's weird, sometimes it's not. But we do have the 2 picks. What did we have? We had 30 and 51. We'll see about this 51. We'll see if they even make the roster. Like, when you're getting picked 51, it's kind of hard. Now that you can sign these guys for like 4 years on these minimums, it's really not that bad. But we'll see who ends up being available. So, all right, we've got the 30th pick here, and exactly who 2 guys that I want are right here already. So let's talk about it. Janai Broom, center that I think could probably play some minutes right away. Really strong, really solid defensively, rebounds the ball extremely well, gonna bring a lot of toughness, more mature guy. Walter Clayton is also available, who I also I think he's going to go higher than this, in all honesty. But Walter Clayton could play some offense for us right away and be a true point guard that we're looking for. I don't think that I'm going to go with Clayton here. Like, I desperately need the center. Like, I desperately need another center behind Zubats, and I think bringing in a veteran guy like Broom would be a really good move for this team. A veteran guy in terms of, like, college, right? I mean, he played in college for 5 years. He's big, he's strong, he's good around the rim, he's really good fundamentally. Like, it'll be like having a poor man Zubats out here. I think that this is going to be a really good pick for us, so I want to pick Janai Broom with the 30th pick. All right, so we add Mr. Broom to the list right here. I always forget to go back and center these, but, you know, is what it is. So this is what his salary would be. Here's the 30th pick. We're going to give you a nice 4-year deal here, and I'm going to throw Broom here as our backup center, which I am thrilled about. Still going to want to find another one as well, but if we could get some sort of older guard here, this would be good. So we have the 51st pick now. A couple of forwards that are left here. Kobe Brea is there as well. That's kind of the shooter. We've picked him in a couple of these already, and I don't think it'd be the worst pick overall here. I'm pretty sure Lee is going somewhere else. I'm not really interested in like a Caleb Love necessarily. Sion James, not necessarily. I wonder if anybody would be willing to buy this pick off of us. Because that's kind of what I'm wondering. I wonder if that's the way to go. I think that's probably what we should do. I feel like we should use the other 2 roster spots elsewhere. Just go find like a more traditional point guard since one's not available now, and I'd like to go find another big man that's at least played some NBA minutes. So I think what we're gonna say happened with this 51st pick is somebody bought it off of us. Most likely what would happen is some contending team, let's just throw out a team, the Pacers or something, right? They're looking for a cheap guy to put at the back of their roster, right? They're willing to pay us, I don't know, $500,000 or something for this pick. That way we don't have to use the pick, and they can use it as a cheap roster spot here. I just don't have anybody I want here, and that's why these picks get sold sometimes. The team that I work for, I actually, in my draft analysis last year, just because I didn't think there was a ton of talent in the class, which was correct, I was like, hey, anything past these guys right here, just sell the pick. I just don't think it's worth it. So that's my thought with this. We're just going to not use the pick at all right here, but I'm happy with this. We got Broom. We got a center that I think we could play day one and be comfortable with when we don't have Zubats on the court. So I love this. I'm very, very happy. Let's move on to free agency and see how we can kind of supplement the rest of the roster. Alrighty, so this brings us to free agency, right? A couple guys that we have to tackle right away. James Harden and Amir Coffey. How much money are we giving them? Let's pay our own guys first. I told you we'd talk about James Harden later. Why did he decline the player option? I think James Harden is going to enter this kind of LeBron space of how he handles his contracts, like, because nobody can give him the money that he wants unless we do a sign-in trade, and who's going to want James Harden right now, right? I just don't know who it would be extremely beneficial for to acquire James Harden at this point in his career. And he can help us, don't get me wrong, and he can help other teams. It's just, is it really worth trading stuff to go get him? I don't necessarily think so. And so we can give him the most money. Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking what he's going to want to do is, like LeBron, just be like, all right, let's do a 2-year contract that has a player option. That way, if at any point, like, I want out, I can dip. You can give me my money this year. Very, very cool. And if I just completely fall off a cliff, I can accept again and still get paid, right? Or if like an injury happens. So he's just kind of extending his window of getting as much money as possible. I'm going to say, because he was making like $36 million, he declined. We're going to give him a little raise because, yeah, we're just going to say 38 to 40. So maybe we split the difference and say 39, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's how much he gets in this deal right here. We're still not in the luxury tax, or we're not in the apron space quite yet, but it's close. So we're going to say $39 million right here. He's going to get the player option, and that's for 2 seasons overall. So there you go. Amir Coffey. What was Amir Coffey making before this? Amir Coffey was making about 3. again, it wasn't like the greatest season for him ever. Let's just pull up the numbers just to take a look at it. But like, he's still a pretty solid player. Like almost 9-10 points a game. Like he shoots the shit out of the basketball. The defensive numbers are a little rough at times, but he can put the ball on the floor a little bit too. Can I just say I want him for like, how much is Chris Dunn making? 5.4. Can I just say 2 years, $5 million each year, so a 2-year 10 or something like that? Maybe more so like 6. No, he fell out of the rotation. So I'm gonna say 5.5. I'm gonna say 5.5. So 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. No options or anything here. We're just gonna say 2 years. We get to retain him. All right. We're actually still not in the first apron spot yet. We're about to, because we have to sign 2 more guys, and we can only sign minimums at this point because we're past the cap. So who do we want? I'm not going after Ben Simmons. I'm not bringing in like Trenton Flowers. I'm not really interested in bringing Patty Mills. I think he's a little bit past his day, as much as I'd like to have him on the team. We've got enough vets on this team. I really don't need that veteran presence. I do need to go get people that can play basketball. First things first, let's find another guard. Who can we go bring into this team? I do actually think a Malcolm Brogdon could be on the table as somebody that could come in for a minimum, but I want to look and see what else there is. Chris Paul. Okay, just hear me out for 1 second. I'm almost certain I'm not going to do this, but how cool would it be for Chris Paul to come back and help lead this team to a championship after everything he did for the Clippers? That would be sick. That'd be sick. I don't think it's going to happen, though. That doesn't seem like one that's on the table. Javon Carter would be really interesting if we could add him to this team. I'd feel kind of good about that. Aaron Holiday, do we really think he's getting his option accepted? Aaron Holiday's an interesting player, and I wouldn't mind bringing him in. Corey Joseph, I have to imagine he's sticking around. Spencer Dinwiddie. Again, I'd like somebody that's maybe a little bit better with the basketball. Tyus Jones. He's not going to get the contract that he was hoping for after this season, but I still don't think he's coming here necessarily. There's part of me that says D'Angelo Russell, like, and bringing him in. I think he's going to go for more than a minimum, though, still, so I think I'm going to pass on that. It's definitely not a Misic. There's some options here. There really is. We can't afford a Ty Jerome, Taylor Horton Tucker. I just don't really want those kind of problems on there. Delano Banton would be kind of cool because he's so versatile and he is used to having the basketball and he's a pretty good playmaker. He's not gonna go for much else. And look, like, other guys are just going to have the ball a little bit more. I'd like somebody that's a better shooter. When I looked at Delano Banton's numbers in previous years, I've always thought, like, that he can be a little bit more than what he is, because I feel like whenever he gets playing time, he actually plays pretty well. The 3-point percentage is not probably reliable enough for me to actually pull the trigger on it. So who else would we want on this list? Ben Simmons. No, I'm good on that one. I'm just going through, doing my due diligence on this. Okay, let's work our way back up. I don't think there was anybody here that we were necessarily going to get. I don't hate the Dinwiddie call at all. He can have the ball and he can play without the basketball too. So that might just be the best solution for this. He can do both, and he's probably better when he doesn't. So I say, let's go after Dinwiddie. Let's go after him. He's going to be a more expensive minimum salary because of how many years he's been in the NBA, but is what it is, man. We're going to have to be an apron team. We're going to avoid the second apron for sure, but we're going to bring Spencer Dinwiddie in. It's going to be a 1-year minimum, and at least we've got somebody on the roster here that we can use as another point guard if absolutely necessary. The Mavericks might bring him back just because they need some guards as well, but we're going to say, hey, come play for this team, because we don't trade our star players just for nothing. We're in a bad situation too, but it's not. It could be worse. So Spencer Dinwiddie, cool. Now we need a big man. Let's go find another center. Who do I want is the question. By the way, like, if I go to like power forwards, are any of these guys centers? Ooh, Marvin Bagley. Marvin Bagley's an awesome idea. See, this is exactly why I checked. Let me check the centers first. Brook Lopez, Clint Capella, we're not getting them. I don't think we're getting Steven Adams. I have to imagine the Rockets are keeping him around. Al Horford, I doubt it. Andre Drummond, he's going to accept his player option. There's no way. Okay. No, I want to go to power forwards, and I want to bring Marvin Bagley in. Marvin Bagley is serviceable. He can step out and hit every once in a while. He's athletic, at least. He's big. We all know Marvin Bagley didn't achieve all the things he wanted to in the NBA, but still a serviceable guy for us. Like, you could throw him on a basketball court and make things happen. Actually had a pretty good playoff performance this year in limited minutes. So how many years has Marvin Bagley been around now? 7. So let's go get him his money here, and let's add Marvin Bagley to the team. So at least now we are a little bit deeper, and we're gonna call him the third string. He could very well beat out Broom, but I'd like to think that Broom could do it. And I see, honestly, Marvin Bagley's number is pretty solid overall. Okay, this is it. This is your Clippers for the 2025-2026 season. It's extremely similar, but we made some nice moves, I think, to try to put us in a little bit better position, which is all we can really do, because this team was like the third best team in the NBA post All-Star break. Like, once Kawhi came back, this team was rolling, and all of it could fall apart again next year, but I'm not sure how much better you can do than this overall. What did we do? Went and added some depth at the guard with like Spencer Dinwiddie, right? We brought back our guys, James Harden, Amir Coffey. Went and found another more playable center in Marvin Bagley. We traded for a Okoro, which I think is actually a pretty slick move that benefits both sides. And we drafted Janai Broom, who I think could play for us right now. We actually didn't hit the first apron still, which is incredible. We're still going to be an expensive team, but you know, it is what it is for the Clippers. We got to sell some tickets for the new arena, right? Which, that place looks sick. I would love to go see it at some point. And this is still a really good basketball team, man. You look at these numbers, this is a pretty damn good team. So I feel good about this. I think this keeps you in contention, and you just need the cards to align better. And we need James Harden to not play bad in the playoffs, right? Hopefully Norman Powell continues to play well. Hopefully Zubats maybe takes another step even. Maybe he does, right? But this is what we got for now. I feel pretty good about it, but you guys obviously let me know what you think in the comments. What moves do you think could be made? And we'll go from there. But anyway, stay tuned for the comment of the video. All right, y'all. Comment of the video is coming from the Bucks ideal offseason video. Again, ideal offseason, go watch all of the videos. That's by far and away the most popular series on my channel. And then remember, go watch the Do They Fit in the NBA videos. They're fun, they're educational. We make fun of some people, crack a lot of jokes. There's a lot of inside jokes in the channel that are formed in these videos right here because we're watching so much college basketball. But they're always getting demonetized, so I don't really get anything for them anyway, so go show them some love. But the comment of the video comes from Bren LOL. Crazy name. He said, Lamau. I always find that so interesting. The moment I skipped forward, you called me out for it. Remember when we went to this part of the video and I said, hey, why didn't you go watch that first part of the video? What are you doing? Go back and watch the rest. I knew I'd get somebody for it, and thank you for being honest. I was like, hey, gotcha ass. But honestly, that is hilarious. Thank you for it, and it looks like other people are saying the same thing by giving it some likes. I appreciate the honesty, y'all. I really do. I do think you should watch that first part in the video. I see the dip in the viewership. Like, it's substantial. There's so much context you get in it. Like, just watch the whole video. Why not? Like, why not learn it all? But I do appreciate it. This comment made me laugh quite a bit, so thank you very much. But anyway, make sure you guys leave me a comment. As you see, I respond to every single one. It looks like I've got like 6 that I've got to go after right now. And as always, go join the Discord, link in the description. That's how you get the ideal offseason spreadsheet. And for those of you curious, like, when do we do more of the ideal offseason things? It just depends on like when the lottery happens, because I need draft picks to be figured out before I can do videos on certain people, and their season needs to be over is the other aspect. At the time you guys are seeing this, the lottery should be determined by now, so every team that isn't still in the playoffs should be on the table, and we're going to start grinding through a lot of these ideal off seasons. I think what I'm going to do is, starting the Saturday that you guys are watching this, I think I might just do like a week straight of ideal off season. You guys are gonna get some other content as well. Like, we're gonna be pumping content out on this channel. So yeah, it's an exciting time, but make sure you guys stay tuned. I appreciate it as always. Talk to you later. Bye.